we'll talk for a few minutes about Space Command in the early days, and then the last 10 minutes or so, you'll be able to present your thing about the music and so forth, because that's a totally specific thing, and that's
Well,
great.
sure,
That's great.
but
But
David, you were with us, sort of like when we were just a twinkle in the mother's eye kind of thing.
yes, you were David. Not only is David our composer and co-producer, he basically sussed out Kickstarter and oversaw the initial campaign that got everything started. So I don't, and I just remember there was a knock at the door, and I opened it, and there was a basket, and you were inside it, right? And
Yeah.
um,
Yes, my name was Moses then.
yes, exactly, you were in the
Yeah,
Russian.
yeah.
But so yeah, so I mean, you've been with us for a long time, and so yeah, if you want to talk
Talk
about how
about
you came into this and
the
all of that.
evolution, or let's say the relentless evolution of Space Command.
Yes, well, of course, you guys were there from the beginning, and this process of creating Space Command didn't happen overnight or even over a year. It was a long process that has been marvelous and transformative for everyone involved. I think that we've all gone to new worlds and achieved new heights because of the visionary heart and artistic courage, in addition to the tremendous writing talent and producing ability of Mark and Elaine. So now this is 9 years that we've been working on Space Command,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I fully expect that it'll be going for at least another 9.
Yeah, and it's as I said, it's like, as I said before you came on, David, it's sort of the science fiction version of Boyhood, and it's so it's like, and that's fine, because I mean, I knew going in that the characters were going to go over many decades, and so it only serves us as they gain a little of life's roadmap on their bodies.
And
So
it has been
Yes, yes.
helpful. The people who have really stuck with us had, like, it's hard to say, not a social agenda, but a personal agenda to speak from their heart,
yes,
and
yes,
about speaking about something more than just, good plot points,
yeah. Well,
but
Yes.
had a more profound agenda.
mm,
Well, it's wonderful that you mentioned that, because one of the other long-term relationships I've had is with Carol Dean's wonderful From the Heart Productions. And I actually started working with them a little bit before Space Command, maybe 6 months or so. Of course, I had already known Mark and Elaine. We've been actually working together for about 15 years now.
Oh,
mhm,
And we did several projects, amazing visionary projects before Space Command, including one that I don't know if it's already been mentioned earlier today, but the first adaptation of World Enough in Time, which is this fabulous series of science fiction fantasy novels that Mark wrote a while
Magic
back.
Time. Yeah, Magic Time.
Magic Time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
absolutely. We did the audio play. That was great.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. I'm sorry. I'm getting confused because I'm going from one convention to another, and I'm getting convention brain.
Yes, I understand.
Well, without the luxury, or is it the luxury to be at home? I don't have the luxury of being on the floor with 100,000 ragingly enthusiastic fans.
Yeah, and that's a blessing. So Ethan, going back to you, because David's been with this project longer, but you came in, was it
well,
2012, or when did you first audition for Space Command? 2020?
I think it was 2012, I believe. Yeah,
Yeah,
2012, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was fascinating because again we got down to the finalists, and I just thought none of these guys really thrill me. Let's go back to that handsome guy and and see, and have a callback, and it really worked because you were, and then of course we had you do the auditions with the Bradbury candidates, and particularly with
Right.
Brian McClure, and again you and Brian had such a terrific chemistry, and that same quality. And the funny thing, of course, is that now in Ripple Effect, we see Brian in all these different ages, and
Yeah.
hilarious. And so it's very fun.
and
But
states of health. How, in terms of the way that the show evolved and your experience of it, were there any big surprises, or did it just seems to flow naturally?
Who are you directing that
Oh, to Ethan.
to? Ethan, yeah.
I think the whole thing was a big surprise. I think even because when we first auditioned, it was fun that you guys had a live kind of ongoing contest that we could kind of physically watch the list of talent dwindle and dwindle.
Yes.
And I had made it to
Yes.
the top 20, I think, and
Yeah.
then it went to the top 5, and I didn't make the cut. I thought
Yeah.
that was unbelievable already because there's over
Yes.
7,000 people, and I made the top 20. I thought, whoa, that's
Yeah.
pretty big.
No, it was
And
great.
then
Yeah.
Yes, and
yeah, but I
every
randomly
one of
checked.
those people, we watched their video.
Yes.
Okay,
The
more
1,200.
than once. I just have to interject in there that
Yeah.
was a marathon task to watch
Yeah.
thousands of videos.
And the germ of that idea was that it was so unusual to finance a TV pilot with money from around the world, with the fans' money. And I thought, well, if we're accessing a world audience, why don't we, because a lot of other campaigns would offer like walk-ons or cameos or one-line roles. And I thought, well, why don't we offer two of the leads? Because we had already cast a number of very famous actors like Doug Jones and Bob Picardo and Mira and Bill Mumy. And I thought, well, we can do this. This will be fun. And again, because we mentor people and we're so open to giving people chances, I mean, because Hollywood is so monolithic and so arrogant and so stupid, quite frankly. I thought it'd be great to say, okay, let's see what anyone anywhere can do, and that it really
It hit some
worked.
amazing talent, and
Yeah.
it's hard because generally you're really restricted by who you can put on the marquee to get your money back.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
you can plant people in seats, so that's kind of changed now.
Mm.
But that's where it was exciting that we had a model where we could just pick the best guy.
But it was
Well, it didn't seem realistic. Like from an actor standpoint, I thought, whoa. I said that they're really going to throw some schmo like myself into into this possibility, and
yes.
yeah,
Well,
I mean it really did change everything, guys.
Well, it was even weirder than that, because originally Space Command started out, and you remember this, David, as just like a 2-hour story that we were going to do that had Matt Kemmer, and I knew, and I was going to cast Armin Shimmerman, Ethan Phillips, Christina Moses as and all these characters that we finally get to see in Ripple Effect, but that's why you auditioned with Matt Kemmer material, because as I was doing the interviews during the campaign, it grew to 4 hours, then 6, then 8, then 12. And that's when I thought of the multi-generational thing. And then Jack Kemmer came into existence as a character. So Aaron Gaffey got cast as Matt, and you got cast as Jack, which was certainly a blessing for you, because you didn't have to wait until now to play your first scene like Aaron Gaffey did.
Sure.
Yeah. So David, go ahead, please.
I was just going to say that the story's actually expanded now to, isn't it like 15 hours?
Yes. With the prequel and with Ripple Effect, it's now 15 hours, and that doesn't even include the novel, which Maya Bonhoff has written, so which provides bridging material between the first 2-hour story and the second 2-hour story. So
it's a whole universe, and it's there's wonderful science fiction universes that have been established for a long time, from Barsoom to a Foundation to yes, and these have been around for a long time, and some of them are actually getting adaptations. But this is the first time, at least for me, that I have been at the beginning, at the actual evolution of that universe.
Yes.
And I think this is an extraordinary opportunity, and everyone who's involved with this, as Mark often says, will have bragging rights forever.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's really fun because so far, the fans have backed us on the Kickstarter campaigns and bought shares in Space Command and all these things, which has allowed us to keep going. And I think it's great. I think it's just great. We have our own studio, as you know, David and Ethan. And but the fun part about this journey also is it's a mixture of knowing where the story is going, but at the same time, I'm always very open to inspiration. Like when the pandemic hit and I came up with Ripple Effect, and then Elaine and I, wrote it. And, so that's fun. But because I had sort of this long runway for the characters, we could go not just further, but deeper. And that was what this one was about.
And so, Ethan, you started to talk about you were chosen.
Yes.
And how was the for you once after you were chosen? We started shooting, and
what was that like? Yeah.
What was it like as you saw?
Well, so from going from the audition, then going into shaking your guys' hands, and you guys were like, "Whoa, you're the guy, you're the guy." I thought, okay. And instantly, I think it was the next day, we were in that studio. We shot a teaser trailer,
Mm.
and then you said, "Well, are you available to go to Comic Con?" I was like, "Well, wait, in San Diego?" You're like, "Yeah, Comic Con."
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. So then it was off to the races. It really was. So we just got
Wow.
going, and yeah,
That's
we
great.
got there, got into production, and I got to meet some people like Doug Jones and Rob
Amazing.
Picardo and all
Yeah.
these people that were just wonderful. And I was just kind of, I was a little geek fly on the wall. That's all.
Fun. And
Ladies and gentlemen,
It
I
was
have
great.
to mention this just to show you what an amazing stand-up guy Ethan really is, in addition to being a really gifted and accomplished actor. At that very first event back in July of 2012, we had a convention presence. It wasn't just a panel, we also had a booth and other things happening. And we had these wonderful posters that our cast and crew were going to sign for free, giving away to the fans. And Ethan, with his mighty muscles, was able to lift up those heavy boxes
and
and
yeah.
bring them out to the convention floor.
Wow.
And, you know, I'm just thinking that that probably wouldn't be something that, say, Leo DiCaprio would be up for doing.
No, yeah, that's why
And
we
you know, he's a wonderful guy, but, you know, it just shows that there's this team spirit, and people take on whatever
Thank you,
role
David.
will allow them, you know, and the project to move forward.
yes.
And I think that's one of the big differences between the new model and the traditional model is that people aren't forced so much into a category, but you can expand outside of that. And
Mm.
I think that that's sort of what the world of science fiction and geekdom is about, is more inclusivity and allowing people who were formerly outcasts to now be accepted and have a group where they feel that they belong and that's their home.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Well,
that's
yeah.
a very good point,
Yeah.
David, because
Yeah.
the people
Yeah.
that have stuck with the project all multitask like
Right.
hell.
No, it's
You know, they
yeah,
all do,
absolutely. We
you know,
we love exploiting actors.
yeah,
And, you know, carry those crates, take those bricks upstairs.
yeah.
No, it's that,
So
yeah, go. The, what?
I do have a question,
Oh, good, thank God.
which no, it's from Mark Lungo for both our guests. I think both of you would do well in westerns. Oh, I'm sorry. I think the other one was. I think
Mike
this
Harney.
is when Mike Harney and.
I've done
But-
westerns.
Have
Yeah.
either of you done westerns?
So, Ethan, you have done westerns, right?
Yeah, actually, when we shot the scene in Ripple Effect where I have the beard, where I'm looking into the mirror, I
Mhm.
had that beard because I was about to fly out to Spain to shoot The Bounty Killer,
Huh.
which we got to shoot on Sergio Leone's sets. They're still up and standing and everything. So we got to go out there and ride horses and
Wow.
play tough out in Almeria, Spain. It was beautiful. It was great.
That's neat. That's neat. But again, that's part of the actor's life where you never know what you're going to end up doing, and that's fun. And but you know, but it's interesting with Space Command because again, you are connected to the fans now, and you are connected to the world fan base, which is really neat. And you know, I think it's just thrilling that we all get to take this adventure, you know, and it's very much handmade. I mean, Ripple Effect didn't even exist as a notion 2 months ago, and to have it finished thanks to everyone's hard work. It's just amazing, and it really was. And we, whereas normally we'd be shooting in LA, in this case we were shooting, of course, in Atlanta and New York and California and Saskatchewan and Portugal and so forth, which was just great, you know. So huge fun. We should also mention, Ethan, that you live in the same complex as Brian McClure, so the two of you were able to collaborate,
Yep.
you know, in terms of pulling your scenes together.
Yeah, because he's a lieutenant, I'd have to keep my eye on him. So he's a good stone throws away. So
Yeah. But that was super fun, and you know, and I got. Oh, go on,
Yeah, okay.
David, please.
Just before we forget, Ethan has an Instagram account that you can follow him at, and you can get pictures of him behind the scenes and Spain shooting that movie and other things. And I think that's important that it's not just Space Command now, because years have gone by and other productions have engaged with the fans more. And
That's
I
great.
think that's really something that's never happened before, as far as I know, in the history of entertainment, where the performers can be in regular daily contact with their fans.
Yes, that is a big
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ethan, please.
Through Instagram, it's funny that even because with being on Doom Patrol now, it's a whole different type of fan base,
Hmm.
and it's really neat to be able, just like David's saying, you can just reach out, and I've been reaching out to artists all across the world, and just just to say hi, and say that they're doing great work, because they're fans of the DC Comics Doom Patrol show, and then they'll
Huh.
sketch little pictures of my character Agent Forsyth, and it's just that connection is just like David's saying, it's unbelievable, and it's
Wow.
neat because it's right there. It's just like a handshake away.
I know.
Yeah.
Great. That's great. And someday I'll learn how to use Instagram, and that will be lovely, because I have an Instagram.
No, you're on the board now. You guys have your picture up now.
I know, it's so
You're
weird.
in.
Someone's gonna have to show me how to post, because I have no
Yeah,
clue.
he's trying all these things, and he's cursing at the computer because he just
Yeah.
can't figure it out.
But that's
And
that's
I don't
yeah.
see why he just doesn't follow my model, which is to turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah.
And I never get
Immediately.
frustrated.
Oh,
Yes,
yes. Yeah. Very wise. Yes.
Yeah.
That
But-
definitely works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it will. But no, but again, there's this wonderful transparency between the audience and the performer or the artist, which I do love. I mean, a lot of my compatriots were very leery of that, but I've always loved that relationship. And of course, I came up in fandom, in science fiction fandom, so the fact you could go to a convention and see your heroes and talk with them, and that great collegial spirit I loved. And I should also say that David Raiklen has been the one overseeing our Comic-Con presence and in the non-pandemic years, and you've just really gone the limit to make that a wonderful experience for everyone. So thank you, David, for that. And
But it's fine. Okay, please go ahead.
No, I said you're welcome.
yeah, thanks.
Because in the way back when I was in theater, we always knew the actors. I was an actor wandering around. We always knew when the out of town thing was never going to make in town,
Yes.
because the audience was just not responding. But then on television and film, where people could fool, especially TV, where the executives could fool themselves,
Mhm.
these dreadful shows would come to life and
Right.
keep poking along, even though nobody liked them. There was no
Well, yeah.
corrective, and there was no course for correction.
Well, that's what laugh tracks were for.
That's what
you
laugh
know?
tracks are for. But that
Yeah.
was what's really good about this new engagement,
This new model.
with this
Yeah.
new model, where you can't fool yourself and completely step aside and be condescending towards your audience. They really are. You're really working in a close partnership.
Mhm.
They were side by side. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so in a moment we're gonna give David the stage to talk about the music and all of that. But before that, is there a final question, Adam, for Ethan? Is there anything else that someone would like to know about? And we should assure people that the jumpsuit you're wearing actually does go all the way down. It doesn't end at
It
waist.
does. It
You are
does.
wearing pants.
And
So
if people
This is what I wear to the grocery store. So thanks, guys.
people were asking earlier, is that the suit from Alien?
yes, it is.
So yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
eBay is a wonderful place. It's dangerous
Mhm.
because you can spend more money than you'd like. But when I saw that, Aliens is one of my favorite movies, and I loved that costume, the salvage costume, and it was perfect for the scene in Ripple Effect. So anything you want to say in closing, Ethan? You've done such wonderful work with us.
Well, just to say thanks again, guys. And it's funny, to kind of segue into the music side of it. It's
Yeah.
interesting that when it all started, I, for the longest time, had Mr. David Raiklen's Space Command theme song as my ringtone on my phone. So
That's
Oh,
great.
that's fabulous. Thank you.
That's
Thank
really
you from
great.
the bottom of my
it's kind
heart.
of funny. Yeah, it's just funny
Yeah.
to have a show to be a part of it.
Yeah.
What's that? What's that ring? Oh, it's Space Command.
Yeah.
Oh, that
right.
reminds me of a funny story. We were having a crew meeting at a wonderful restaurant in West Hollywood that sadly is now closed. But it was a great place to meet, because you could have big tables where we could have a team of 15 people, and there was someone who was not persuaded that I was the right person to do the music for the show. So I sang the Space Command theme And his jaw dropped. He said, "That's pretty good."
That's funny. That's funny. Yes, so
And
so
I would like, if I may, I would like to share when I first met Ethan McDowell. It was 2017 at Comic Con, and I had just become an investor in Space Command, and I was invited to an investors dinner, and Ethan was there, and I didn't I didn't like know who you were, but I had a feeling like I knew you were important.
Part of it somehow.
Not that, but because I think I just knew how big of an actor you're going to be. So
yeah,
maybe
great.
that's what it was.
Thank you,
Well,
Adam.
that's nice that you didn't ask him what the specials of the evening were. So,
I could have rattled them off.
Yeah, I'm sure. So thanks so much, Ethan. We're I think over the next few days we'll schedule a session with you and Brian to talk about that very special. Yeah. So yeah, but great. Well, so we'll see you soon. Thanks so much. And now, David, you have the floor for the next 10 minutes or so. Yeah, to talk about music. Bye, Ethan. Take care.
Yeah. By the way, there are behind-the-scenes photos from their first audition together on a roughly thrown together spaceship set that was still very cool, and hopefully you can find, or I can send you some of those for that conversation if you'd like to go down the time tunnel back to those days.
That's great. Yeah, and so now we turn it over to you, David, to talk about the music, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right, see you guys.
Take care.
Take care.
All right, so hi everybody. In case you're just tuning in, I'm David Raiklen. I'm co-producer and composer for Space Command, and I've been with the project since its inception in 2011. And over that time, I've had a chance to create a musical universe, and some of it the public has heard, and at other times, it's been work that's behind the scenes and has taken years to reach the broadcast stage. So I wanted to take just a couple of minutes and take you through some of the musical elements that are important to Space Command, and or at least they're important to me. And so first I want to start with a scene from Space Command Redemption, episode 101. This is up on YouTube and you can see it. But now we're going to just focus on how the music is changing every few seconds to support the action. And when you're watching it the first time or even the second time, you may not notice this, but it is kind of amazing how music is part of telling the story, and it can be a lot of fun to see how it's interacting with the characters in the action. So I'm going to share a screen, and here we go. Share computer sound, and
remember it defaults to not. Oh yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I've got it. So hopefully you guys are now seeing a blank screen, but the show should start in a second. So let me know if you don't see something within about 3 seconds.
Kicking in the thrusters. Lieutenant Bradbury, max their speed. Yes, sir. We're going to scan that ship. Tell me who's on board.
Our scans can't penetrate the hull.
What's her power source?
Unknown, but sublight. There's no telling what her specs might be.
McGuinn, what's your projected course?
The outer planets. Saturn and Jupiter are in opposition. It could be either.
What are they doing?
Sir, ship coming up on our 6. It's the Templar.
Captain Essex, glad to have a dance partner.
General Haldeman sent me to provide support.
Deep rock scans revealed no bodies. The excavation site.
Oh, Dr. O'Dara and her party are on that ship.
We saw a picture
All right, so I'm going to unshare the screen. And we'll come back in just a minute. But now I wanted you to have a chance to understand a little bit about what's going on there. You may have noticed that the music started out as pedal to the metal, high energy action music. And then it became more subtle when we went into the interior to support the dialogue with Ethan, playing Captain Kemmer. And then it changed again when the lieutenant was in a suspenseful moment trying to understand what was happening about the course of the alien ship. And then we finished up with Doug Jones as Dor Nevin, and he's on board the EMA ship, and there's all these voices, and those voices are part of the soundtrack too. And in between there was a cutaway to the Templar, and we saw Sarah Marafino playing Captain Essex. And for that, we went to a kind of lyrical, heroic bit of music, and that was her theme. So all of that was happening in just a couple of minutes. So the music was constantly changing to flow with the drama and the storytelling. And there's some very specific things there, like character themes. And there was another character theme with those voices. Those are actually musical elements. And what we did for that is the EMA civilization needed to have a voice and a language. Even though we hadn't gotten to that part yet happening on screen, it was important, at least in my vision for the score, to have the EMA civilization come to life and be a real thing right from the get-go. So we invented a language. It's called a conlang, a constructed language, for the EMA civilization. And those voices are actually the voices of the cast. In other words, we have Doug Jones and Mira Furlan and Bob Picardo and Ethan. Their voices, plus other actors, are all mixed in there, and they're speaking in our constructed language. It sounds like a real language, but no matter where you are in the world, it'll also sound like an alien language, because
giving you a 2-minute warning.
It has all the elements of a language, but it's made up. So now we're going to go on to the next scene, and this might just take us out to the next segment.
May I?
Dora is communicating with the aliens, and you can hear those voices, which are the aliens speaking to him.
Are you all right?
So now the voices are faded away, and we go back to action and tension music. This is the Triumph music, which will come back in further episodes. All right, so I think that's about the end of our time. I hope you enjoyed it. All of the main characters, Kemmer and Vonodara, Captain Essex, Lieutenant Bradbury, Yusuf Sikander, the heroes and the villains like Odin Sikander, they all have their own character themes, and I hope you enjoy listening for them. If you want to know more about that, be in touch. David Raiklen at cinematicmusic1@gmail.com.
Hi, Adam. I think Mark has a link. Is that what we need?
Oh,
I think we're going to the next guest. Is that correct?
we are. Thank you so much, David.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I need to bring back Mark, so we're just going to have a quick pause after, and then we'll get on to our next guest. I do want to say we didn't have any questions, but a lot of comments saying how much they like your music.
Well, thank you all so much. We like you so much, and we hope that you'll stay around for all of our future adventures. And feel free to friend me on Facebook, David Raiklen, DavidRaiklen, and I'm happy to answer your questions. I think we have an astronomer up next, yes? Are we still live?
Hi, David. This is David Bartlett. Yeah, we're still live. They're just getting Mark back. He and Elaine are doing something over there.
Okay, so I'll keep talking. That our Space Command soundtrack is actually a live orchestral soundtrack. If it sounds like it's a real orchestra, it's because that's what we're doing. We won't cheat the audience. We're giving you actual live musicians performing their instruments with mastery and passion that can't be replicated by a computer. It's that human factor that makes the art and the whole show come to life. So,
and we also have it available as a perk in the campaign that's going to be launching in a couple of days.
Yes, you can get the soundtrack, and it also has songs on it that were composed especially for this by Bill Mumy, who does a great character song about the relationship between his character and Dor Nevin, Doug Jones's character. And then we also have a wonderful pop song from Marina V. So there's a lot of wonderful music on there that you haven't heard yet in the soundtrack.
That sounds great. The sketchbook, can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, well that sketch has, that sketchbook has been there growing and expanding since the beginning. There are musical sketches from back when our project was called something else, and you can hear our influences from early 50s science fiction and how we tried to capture the vibe of movies like The Day the Earth Stood Still or Forbidden Planet, the original Star Trek. There are those influences, and then that began to evolve as our timeline began to move into different eras of the future, and they needed to have different sounds of music. So we haven't gotten to those episodes yet, but you can hear them previewed in the sketchbook. And I think that's a lot of fun because I don't think it gives away much of the future storylines in detail, but it does give you a sense of the world that we're going to be inhabiting in just a few episodes. So,
and Mark is back.
Good timing.
I
Welcome back.
Thanks. Just technical difficulties. So thank you so much, David. I really appreciate that. And
you've definitely gotten a lot of fans from that.
Yes.
A lot of fans saying "Yoo-hee."
So I guess the next person we have is
cool.
Yeah, Aaron McDowell, who's the Star Trek science advisor, is going to be coming on. So, but thanks, David. And how can, if people want to reach you to ask further questions about the music, what's the best way to reach you?
Oh, there's two easy ways to get in touch. One is to friend me on Facebook, David, D-A-V-I-D, Raiklen, R-A-I-K-L-E-N. That's also my website, davidraiklen.com. Or you can reach me at Cinematic Music 1. That's Cinematic Music and the numeral 1 at gmail.com. And
Right.
I'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you're a musician and you'd like to participate, like I said, the soundtrack is done with live musicians, and we have fans that are playing on the soundtrack.
That's
and that
great.
could be you.
Great. Well, thanks so much, David. Yay, David Raiklen. We'll talk soon.
Hey, Space Command.
Thanks, David. Talk soon. Take care.